You've tried being patient. You've tried being firm. You've read the books. You've watched the videos. And still, your child's behavior feels harder than ever. Here's the part no one tells you. The harder you try to fix the behavior, the worse it can actually get. What makes this even more confusing is that you're not doing nothing. You're doing everything you were told to do. You explain. You remind. You set consequences. You even stay calm. And still, it feels like nothing sticks. One day it works. The next day, it completely falls apart. And at some point, you start wondering, is it my child or is it me? But here's the real tension. If discipline is supposed to teach, why does it so often leave everyone more exhausted, more disconnected, and more discouraged than before? What if the problem isn't that your discipline is wrong, but that discipline was never meant to work on its own? Because behavior doesn't come from willpower, it comes from what's happening underneath. When a child's behavior keeps falling apart, it's usually not a listening problem, it's a foundation problem. And here's the part most parenting advice skips. Strong behavior isn't built by control. It's built on 4 foundations that shape how a child's brain feels, connects, and learns to cope. If even one of these foundations is missing, everything else feels like pushing uphill. A healthy brain comes first. Let's start here, because this part changes everything. When a child is tired, overstimulated, or underfueled, their brain isn't in learning mode. It's in survival mode. And a brain in survival mode can't listen, can't regulate, and definitely can't do better next time. So when we ask for calm, cooperation, or self-control from a brain that's already overwhelmed, it's not resistance, it's biology. You can't discipline a nervous system into safety, and you can't teach skills to a brain that's running on empty. Connection before correction. There's another pattern most parents quietly notice. The harder you correct, the more your child pulls away. Not because they're being defiant, but because their brain is asking a different question than we think. Before a child asks, "What should I do?" their brain asks, "Am I safe with you right now?" And when that answer feels shaky, instructions don't land, consequences don't teach, even calm voices don't always get through. Because guidance only works after connection is felt, not explained. Clear boundaries create calm brains. This is where many parents get stuck. If connection matters so much, maybe limits don't. So rules soften, expectations blur, and just this once slowly becomes the pattern. But here's what neuroscience keeps showing us. A child's brain doesn't calm down when boundaries disappear. It calms down when boundaries are clear, predictable, and held without anger. That's why clear boundaries create calm brains. Not control, not fear, but consistency that a child can feel. Raising problem solvers, not dependents. There's one more pattern that quietly shapes everything. The faster we rush in to fix things for our children, the less confident they become over time. Not because they're incapable, but because their brain never gets the chance to experience, "I can figure this out." Every time we rescue too quickly, we send an unspoken message, "You can't handle this without me." But when a child is allowed to struggle just enough, to feel discomfort that's still safe, their brain starts learning something powerful. That's how we raise problem solvers, not dependents. Not by removing challenges, but by trusting our children to meet them. If you're listening to this and thinking, "I should have known this earlier," pause for a moment. You didn't miss something obvious. You were never taught to look this deep. Most of us were raised to manage behavior, not to understand brains. So when things felt hard, we tried harder. But strong children aren't built by parents who never struggle. They're built by parents who are willing to slow down, see differently, and grow alongside their children. You don't need to be stricter. You don't need to be softer. You need to be more grounded. Because when a child feels safe in their body, secure in their relationship, and trusted to figure things out, behavior begins to change on its own. This isn't about fixing your child. It's about building the foundations where growth can finally happen. That's what we explore here at Simply Raised. Not quick fixes, just deeper understanding. If this spoke to you, you're not alone, and you're in the right place.
Thank you so much for visiting.
We had a wonderful time. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.